Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Listen, Garnacho, that is the name that is going around a lot. A lot of people are talking about Garnacho at the moment. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you talk about Garnacho? Whether you want him or you don't want him, I think both arguments are strong. So listen, today I'm going to be talking about Alejandro Garnacho and my thoughts on Chelsea potentially signing him from Manchester United, and whether I think it's a good idea or not. So without further ado, smash that like button if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts on Garnacho in the comments as well, whether you're a fan or not. I think this is a very, very interesting debate. Now, interestingly enough, I was very firm at one point that I wasn't a fan of Garnacho, bringing in Garnacho. Why would anyone want a player like that to join Chelsea, especially when you see what he has done at Manchester United this season? Because let's be honest, he's been poor, and you see the cost associated with that deal. Now, Napoli originally in January, they made a very, very serious offer. We were very serious about making an offer for Alejandro Garnacho in January. And Napoli had a bid rejected, which was over 40 million. Okay, over 40 million pounds. Now, when that deal got rejected, I have to admit, I was a bit surprised. And looking at where we are right now, I think we can all agree that Manchester United probably made a pretty big mistake not accepting that bid for Napoli, because they will not be getting more money for Garnacho now than they would have got in January. Everybody knows about January tax. You generally pay more money for players in January than you would in the summer, because teams don't have as much time to recoup a replacement, bringing in someone else that can basically fill the shoes of the player they sold, whereas in the summer you've got a lot of time, okay, and you can organize things, you can get everything set up. Now with Garnacho, this is a player who I actually really liked under Ten Hag, but I do feel like since Amarim's been involved in the club, he hasn't played quite as much, and he hasn't played as well either. He's gone from basically having a pretty good season in the 23-24 campaign, scoring 7 goals and getting six assists in the Prem, to having 6 and 2. So he's gone from 13 GA to 8, which is basically, I think everyone can agree that's a downgrade. But the issue that everyone seems to be talking about is his attitude, because there are pictures online of Garnacho. Obviously, posted a picture of himself wearing a Marcus Rashford shirt, but it wasn't a Manchester United Rashford shirt. It was an Aston Villa one, and it caused outrage. There's clearly no love between Alejandro Garnacho and Manchester United, and the fan base definitely don't want anything to do with Garnacho. They hate him. And to be honest with you, when I speak to a lot of Chelsea fans, I feel like we hate him. But my question to you guys is, do you only hate Garnacho because of his attitude issues with Manchester United? Or do you hate him because of the price that we would actually have to pay to bring him in? And this brings me to my next point, which is I would not pay. I think Man United wanted 55 million for him in January. I wouldn't pay that. I wouldn't pay 50. I wouldn't pay 45. I wouldn't pay 40. I don't think I would pay 35, although that's sort of a more of a conversation we could have. But I would be willing to pay 30 million or less for Garnacho. And I believe that this is a deal that in the current market is pretty good value. And honestly, I think we'd be pulling Manchester United's pants down. Because I'm not sitting here saying Garnacho's the best player in the world, but I am sitting here saying that he's a player that actually has potential, but you have to be in the right environment to unleash anything. As a player in life, in football, if your environment isn't right, you are going to struggle. And I do think that, Manchester United is probably the most toxic football club in the world. You sit here right now, or you comment below, and you tell me one football club that's more toxic than Manchester United right now. And take these factors into account, because I know what some people could say. You could talk about Reading FC. They had their ownership problems. We know Sheffield Wednesday. I'm hearing lots of clubs that are struggling. But when we talk about dealing with a toxic environment as a player, it goes far beyond just an ownership. We're talking about the fan base, the media scrutiny, the lack of investment in the club. Where are the priorities at the club? Is it about football or is it about finances? The way Manchester United treat their fans is nothing short of a disgrace. And the way that they treat some of their players, you would argue it could be better, especially when you look at the press, the media, the bad reputations that players are given just because they're at Manchester United, and the standards should be higher. So I do think that the environment is a massive, massive issue for Garnacho. And that's one of the reasons that I'm open to actually bringing him to Chelsea. I'm not sitting here saying we need him. I'm not sitting here saying I want him. I'm open to it. And I wouldn't have a problem with signing Garnacho for 30 million or less pounds. And I just don't understand why other people would. You can sell him for a profit. He's 21 years old. You can still have him on a low wage. He's only on about 45k a week at United. You could easily give him a pay rise and put him up to 70 or 80. He'd still be one of our lower earners in the grand scheme of things. And, you're taking a player that goes from an environment where he's not wanted, not loved, constantly criticized, not even particularly appreciated by his own manager or fan base. Nobody at Manchester United likes Garnacho. To then being in a position where you've got a club who are placing their trust in you, giving you a long contract, a pay rise, and you're in an environment with lots of other young up-and-coming players, in a squad that's gone from basically strength to strength over the past few years. We've struggled, but we've got better and better. And what is the next stage of Chelsea's progression from finishing fourth in a Champions League position, winning the Conference League and winning the Club World Cup? You have to say the next progression is to seriously start competing for the Premier League. And we are going to need as much depth and as much strength and as much quality and enthusiasm and talent as we can possibly get our hands on. And if Garnacho is one of those players that can help, I don't have a problem with it. In a lot of ways, you would argue that potentially bringing in Garnacho for 30 million is better business than what we did with Jamie Gittins, spending 55 million. Who's worth more? Maybe Gittins is worth more, but is he worth 25 million more? I don't think so. But again, this is all potential, right? And one of the problems with the Gittins deal is that you look at this player and you go, okay, it's a good player. Can we sell him for a profit? Are other teams going to spend 70, 80 million on this guy? But then if you're bringing in Garnacho for 30, I think we could probably turn over a profit. We'd definitely break even. Are you telling me that a club wouldn't spend 35 million on Garnacho in 3 years' time if he doesn't work out? I think he probably would. You could probably sell him for 50 to Arsenal, because Saka might need some cover at that point. Madueke, he might flop. They'll need someone else to come in and replace him. So I don't think that it's an unrealistic proposition to talk about Garnacho coming to Chelsea. Now, apparently, according to Matt Law, Chelsea have no concerns over the character of Garnacho. They've carried out a series of background checks on the player, and they seem to be pretty happy with that. And we are expected to make an offer before the transfer window shuts. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. But honestly, this is a deal that looks like, I'm not saying the deal's going to happen. There's definitely going to be an offer. He wants Chelsea. Chelsea are clearly interested in him. This is a match where you've got two people who actually want to be together. Now, take the fans out of the equation. Look at Jadon Sancho. I don't think Jadon Sancho was bad at Chelsea. Do I think he was a lot better at Chelsea than he was at Manchester United? Absolutely. So if you're telling me that we can get a better version of Garnacho than what he's been at Manchester United, bearing in mind his past 2 seasons, and we're only talking Premier League right now, He's played 36 games in the past 2 seasons. Okay, he's gone from 13 GA to 8 GA. You're telling me that can be an improvement. That can be improved upon at Chelsea. So maybe he can get 18 GA. Maybe he can get 25. Who knows? But he can improve on what he's done at Manchester United, and you have to agree with that he has better resources about him. He has a better environment at Chelsea than he would ever have at Manchester United, just because it's toxic. And to be quite frank, he just doesn't have the quality around him. If you want to make a certain run and someone can't find that pass at Manchester United, that's just the norm. You come to Chelsea, you've got Enzo Fernandez springing balls, you've got Palmer able to link up, you've got João Pedro making runs, you've got Delap if you whip a ball in the box and you want someone to get their head on it. So much talent to work around, and you've got a manager who's playing in a way that allows you to dominate the ball and have the majority of possession most games, and put you in a position as a winger where you can whip balls in or potentially cut inside and make things happen. So ultimately, if he's good enough, it will work. It will work. And if what happened with Jadon Sancho in terms of just the improvement, just with Garnacho, I think we've got a great player on our hands, and I think we can easily sell him for a profit. The wages aren't an issue. The transfer fee is the only thing we're really looking at right now. 30 million, it's a thumbs up. It's a thumbs up from me. It's not the best deal I've ever seen in the world, but what left do we have to complain about apart from the goalkeeper? Apart from Robert Sanchez, what is there actually in this squad that we can complain about? We got cover for Cucurella with Hato. We got 2 striker options with Delap and João Pedro, both who look to be very, very good signings at this moment in time. We got one of the best 2 up-and-coming youngsters with Andre Santos and Esteval. I mean, Jamie Gittins has come in. You've got another winger. You've got great depth. You've got cover for Caicedo. I mean, what are we complaining about? People still saying they don't trust what's going on. And I don't trust a lot of things. I still think the owners are in it for themselves. That's fine. But you've got to give them credit for the way they're running the club if it's successful. You have to. You've got to respect it. So I'm looking at this Garnacho deal and I'm going, if that's what you think Chelsea is right, fair enough. Fair enough. Who am I? What do I know? My predictions, what the fuck? What came to fruition there? So, yeah, man, I do think the Garnacho deal can happen, and I don't have a problem with it, but only if it's less than 30 million. If it's more than that, not sure. 35 at a push. 40, too much. Too much. We have to take advantage of this situation that Manchester United are in. We love opportunistic signings. This is an opportunity as far as I see it. So Chelsea, if you want to get it done, I think this is a deal that could benefit everyone. And nobody's saying either, by the way, that this guy's going to start every week. But he can contribute. He can clearly contribute. He can be a good option. And I think in a better environment, you'll see a better version of the player. He's only 21 years old, guys. So I do believe there's a player in there. So, yeah, let me know what you think, guys. And we will catch up very, very soon. All the best.